Kazakhstan is actively involved in regional integration. The country is developing trade, economic, cultural, and humanitarian cooperation with neighboring countries. Kazakhstan is set to strengthen cooperation in two major areas such as regional security and transit capacity of the region. Experts believe that consolidation of forces will benefit all Central Asian countries. According to specialists, the Convention on the Legal Status of the Caspian Sea signed in Aktau plays a significant role in achieving these goals. Both the convention and the agreement signed in Aktau contribute to the development of capacities. Our regional neighbors can use this opportunity to their advantage to gain access to European markets through the Caspian Sea, which is much faster, cheaper, and better. In general, the entire region benefits from the convention.
В целом от подписания конвенции выигрывает весь регион.
Kazakhstan is leading in the Central Asian region. The country plays an important role in the settlement of international conflicts and establishment of a single economic and transport infrastructure in the region. Moreover, due to the multi-vector policy, Kazakhstan has contributed to the high-level confidence between the neighboring countries, which is evidenced by the informal meetings held among Central Asian leaders as well as various agreements signed at these meetings. According to analysts, many factors allow Kazakhstan to reach a new level of cooperation and raise the country's profile on the international arena.
Международное сообщество однозначно признает Казахстан лидером в Центральной Азии. И вот эта постоянная позиция,
The international community has clearly acknowledged Kazakhstan as a leader in Central Asia. This perception stems from the strengthening of trade, economic, political, infrastructural, and logistics cooperation among the countries. Kazakhstan shows the example of good neighborliness and friendly relations in politics, economy, environment, and humanitarian sectors. Kazakhstan is valued in the world and is considered to be the leader of the Central Asia region. Central Asian countries respect Kazakhstan for many reasons, including the role of President Nazarbayev in the strengthening of friendly relations with the neighboring countries.
Подчеркивали и роль главы государства в укреплении вот этих братских, дружеских отношений с государствами-соседями.
Kazakhstan is one of the most attractive countries for investors. The AFC Court and the AFC International Arbitration Center are playing an important role in Kazakhstan. At the moment, rules and regulations of these bodies have been developed. Currently, these legal bodies are conducting a large-scale information campaign for investors and entrepreneurs. According to Registrar and Chief Executive of the AFC Court, Christopher Campbell Holt, it is important for the investors operating in the Eurasian region to know that there is a legal body in Kazakhstan which protects their rights.
We've had great success with it so far. We know, because we've seen the evidence, that our court and arbitration centre are now for the first time being included in hundreds of contracts, not just in Kazakhstan but throughout the Eurasia region. So we've managed to succeed by getting real interest in future business for Kazakhstan, and we're waiting now for those cases to come once the disputes happen under those contracts.
Kazakh products are becoming popular in the global market. Today, the country is one of the largest exporting countries in the world. The Kazakh products are shipped to more than 100 countries. Moreover, experts highlight the increase of import volumes from the Central Asian region. Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan have expressed interest to import Kazakh goods. Kyrgyzstan imports 100% of coal from Kazakhstan. The export products range from fuel, chemical products, construction materials, and household chemicals. Food remains the primary exported product. High-precision products, heat-insulating materials, pipelines, automobiles, as well as electric and diesel locomotives made up only a small part of the list of exported items. Recently, Kyrgyzstan has signed a contract to import these goods. The active promotion of Kazakh products is also due to geographical proximity. Kazakhstan is one of the biggest exporters to Kyrgyzstan, with the export value nearing $1 billion. Education in China is popular around the world. Young people from Tajikistan are also willing to study in China. The number of Tajik students studying in China exceeds 3,000 people. Last academic year, China allocated 300 quotas for Tajik citizens, while this year the quotas were increased to 350. Exchange of professionals and students is one of the key cooperation areas in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. We wanted to take a postgraduate course in China and completed a 3-year course in international relations. I came up with a name for myself in Chinese, Hiping, which translates as peace. Tajik students are provided by favorable conditions to study and master a profession. They are also attracted by China's ancient culture and history. The Confucian concept of mutual assistance and exchange in the traditional Chinese philosophy is very close to me. The Junzi idea is to become a holistic person and act decently both in family matters and the government. The students are planning to work in both countries. They plan to develop the Chinese-Tajik cooperation for the benefit of both countries. Many Chinese companies launched their factories in Tajikistan. Meanwhile, we buy a lot of goods from China. Tajikistan is rich in natural resources such as gold. However, currently, we lack production capacities and high technologies, which we need to learn from China. The diplomatic relations between China and Tajikistan were established in 1992. Over a quarter of a century, the mutual trade turnover has grown almost 300 times. The President's State of the Nation address is aimed at social modernization. Member of Majlis, the lower house of Kazakh Parliament, Azad Parvashev believes that President Nazarbayev's address focuses on the interests and needs of the Kazakh citizens, which demonstrates that Kazakhstan finds ways to take care of its citizens despite the instability in the world. The Kazakh President's address covers improvement of living standards, quality and access to education, healthcare, housing, and many other important topics. The President instructed the government to review the budget spending priorities with an emphasis on the social sector. The tasks set by the President are aimed at improvement of current challenges that should be resolved now. In his address, President Nazarbayev highlighted that the people's lives should be improved now and the living standards should be raised now. The government allocates the funds and provides conditions to achieve these goals. I'm very optimistic about the implementation of these norms.
Я считаю, что глава государства очень правильно в этом послании.
I think that President Nazarbayev set the right priorities in his State of the Nation address, emphasizing that the government bodies should be responsible for the improvement of people's living standard, their well-being, culture, and involvement in the creative processes aimed at the development of our country. The number of people interested to visit Kazakhstan's natural and historical sites is growing every year. This year, more than 4 million foreign tourists visited Kazakhstan. The increase totaled 22%. Kazakhstan is especially popular among tourists from India, Malaysia, Poland, the United Arab Emirates, and South Korea. There are also a lot of visitors from neighboring countries, including Uzbekistan. We arrived in Turkestan from Uzbekistan. We often visit Kazakhstan. Today we visited the mausoleum of Ukash Ata and the mausoleum of Khoja Ahmed Yasawi. We visited Shymkent and now we are in Turkestan. We are going to visit the Aristan Bab mausoleum. We will stay in Kazakhstan for 5 days. The trip is very affordable. We will visit Kazakhstan more often. The Oterar settlement, located 60 kilometers from Turkestan, is another tourist attraction. The Aristan Bab mausoleum is located nearby. According to the established tradition, pilgrims visit religious mentor Aristan Bab's burial site before visiting the mausoleum of Khoja Ahmed Yasawi.
Диаметр купола мавзолея Хаджи Ахмеда Ясави самый большой.
The dome of Khoja Ahmed Yasawi's mausoleum is the largest in Central Asia. It is larger than the domes in the Islamic facilities of Khiva, Bukhara, and Samarkand. The mausoleum of Khoja Ahmed Yasawi is Kazakhstan's first cultural site included in the UNESCO World Heritage List.
Первый историко-культурный объект Казахстана, который включен в список всемирного наследия ЮНЕСКО.
У нас есть концепция 4И, да, это первую очередь этнотуризм, это туризм развлечений и событийный туризм.
We have a 4E concept that included eco, ethno, entertainment, and event tourisms. These are our main travel destinations that are interesting for the potential travelers. In addition, there are two large brands such as Astana and Almaty, which are the centers of MICE tourism.
Понимать, что у нас есть достаточно два сильных таких бренда, это Астана и Алматы, это центры MICE туризма.
The national web portal Kazakhstan Travel will be launched in Kazakhstan by the end of the month. This website will be available in 6 languages. Photo and video footage collected during the travel to the Great Steppe expedition will also be posted on the site. The mausoleum of the Taksai princess was established in western Kazakhstan as part of the modernization of Kazakhstan's identity program. The facility is 7 meters tall and 4 meters wide. The tomb is located near the Dolinnoe village. The burial site of the young woman dates back to 5th century BC. Historians believe that the finding belongs to Savroman and Sarmatian cultures. Also, the restored sculpture Altyn Khan Shaim was presented to scholars in many countries and was exhibited in the British Museum, China, Azerbaijan, Russia, and Korea. At the burial site, archaeologists discovered more than 1,000 valuable artifacts, including bronze arrowheads, horse harnesses, gold jewelry, bone and wood, and ritual artifacts. The princess dates back to the 6th to 5th centuries BC and represents the late Sarmatian period. Archaeologists discovered many gold jewelry items at her burial ground. There are 119 jewelry pieces with a total weight of about 3 kilograms.
Интересно то, что сама яма была имитирована под колесницу, квадригу.
It is interesting that the pit itself was shaped as a quadriga chariot, which carried her away towards the sunset. The walls of the pit have decorations of sun and rays. We discovered a lot of ritual items at the burial site.
Вот. И очень много было найдено предметов, которые мы относим к ритуальным.
49 sites of Akmola region were also included in the map of Kazakhstan's holy sites. The landmarks are located in Yerementau, Sandiktau, Zerendi, and Atbasar districts. The holy sites include the burial site of Wali Khan, the eldest son of Ablai Khan and grandfather of Shokan Walikhanov. Wali Khan is the only Kazakh Khan buried in his homeland. From now on, tourists visiting Akmola region have the opportunity to visit the holy site. Improvements such as lighting, pavilions, and pavements built around the tomb were made for visitors. The site was included in the travel destinations as part of the modernization of Kazakhstan's identity program. There are many historical and cultural sites in Akmola region, including 1,032 local scale sites, 4 Republican scale sites, and 558 sites under the preliminary registration. There are people all over the world who prefer extreme conditions looking for the spiritual sites. Kazakh scientists are set to recreate a unique musical instrument of the Kipchaks. Members of the Trails of Nomads expedition went to Kiev to study this priceless finding, which was discovered in the 80s during excavations on the left bank of the Dnieper River. According to archaeologists, the instrument dates back to the 13th century AD. The musical instrument is well preserved. The artifact helped learn more about the lifestyles of the Kipchaks, who lived in the territory of present-day Ukraine.
Было достаточно много письменных свидетельств, эпических свидетельств, и в целом исторических свидетельств о том.
There was a lot of written, epic, and historical evidence that the people who lived in Desht-e-Kipchak land had a well-developed musical culture and played musical instruments. This case was especially amazing because we finally discovered the evidence proving the epic and historical sources.
Подтверждение эпическим, историческим свидетельством все-таки обнаружили.
Ukrainian archaeologists excavated the remains of several Kipchak Khans. During the works, they found one of the richest burial sites, Khan Tigaks's tomb. It is located in southeastern Ukraine and was full of unique items such as jewelry, weapons, as well as expensive dishes and clothing.
Тигактың денесі ұзындығы 1 метр 82 сантиметр болған. Сондықтан да ол кісі ірі болған,
Tigak Khan had excellent physique. He was 1 meter and 82 centimeters tall. He was a real warrior. The Khan was buried in expensive clothes, which indicates his high status. He was dressed in a gold-embroidered kaftan of a rare quality. Only Byzantine kings wore these garments at that time.
Кейде жасауы мүмкін. Өйткені ондай кафтандарды киетін сол уақытында Византияның патшалары ғана.
Вот видите, вот колечко, это значит, что ее цепляли к поясу. Чингульского хана.
The vessel was hooked to the belt by the ring. The Chingul Khan had 3 belts with gold stitches and silver gilt inserts. This work, dated to the 3rd quarter of the 13th century, was performed by German jewelers from Rhein-Maas region.
Которые как раз и дали нам дату 3-я четверть 13 века.
The trails of nomads' expedition is set to make more discoveries. According to the expedition leader, their next destination is southern and eastern territories of Ukraine, where larger and more exciting Desh-e-Kipchak monuments are still preserved. Anthologies of modern Kazakh prose and poetry will be translated into Russian, according to an agreement between National Commission for Implementation of the Modernization of Kazakhstan's Identity Program and the partners of the Modern Kazakh Culture in the Global World Project. The collections will be published in partnership with the Publishing House of Moscow State University and the Moscow's Office of the Writers' Union of Russia. The 2-volume book will include 60 works approved by the Writers' Union of Kazakhstan. The anthologies will be translated into English, Arabic, Spanish, Chinese, French, and Russian. Russian organizations involved in the translation and publishing of the anthologies have a very good reputation in Russia. We monitored and studied many organizations to determine our partners. Now we finally have a result and we'll start working with our partners.
Была проделана с казахской стороны большая работа по отбору тех писателей, которые...
Our Kazakh partners performed significant work on the selection of writers who will represent Kazakhstan on the international arena and the Russian-speaking market. These books will be presented at a number of exhibitions. Russian literary experts should perform high-quality translation of these works.
Российских литераторов должен быть осуществлен перевод этих произведений на самом высоком уровне.
Famous Kazakh composer Tolegin Muhamedjanov is one of the most prominent figures in the Kazakh music industry. The musician, who created hundreds of well-known instrumental compositions, celebrated his 70th anniversary this year and continues creating music for admirers of his works. At a meeting with the intellectuals of Astana, the musician presented several projects, including a new instrumental album titled The River of Life.
Альбом «Река жизни» — это своего рода, наверное, некое осмысление вообще моего музыкального творчества.
The album River of Life is an insight into my musical career and provides a better understanding of my works. This album includes melodies that I wrote at different times. Therefore, each composition is special for me, and in my opinion, all these melodies sound perfect, which allows me to promote these compositions to wider audiences.
Звучат идеально. И это дает мне возможность, конечно, их пропагандировать на самую широкую аудиторию.
The River of Life is Tolegin Muhamedjanov's 12th album that includes 14 best works. The list also contains Tolegin Muhamedjanov's revised works and latest instrumental compositions. The most prominent works are The Melody of Childhood, The Melody of Love, and the music from the Station of Love movie. At the meeting, the musician also presented a new poetry collection, To You with Love, under the original pen name Jean Luna.
Я, как поэт, имею псевдоним Жан Луна. Когда меня спрашивают, а почему такой псевдоним, я говорю, Жан — это как бы производным.
As a poet, I have the pen name of Jean Luna. When people ask me why I have this pen name, I say that Jean is a derivative of my last name, Muhamedjanov. Jean is a very special word for Kazakhs because it means soul, and Luna is moon, which is Ay in Kazakh. When the moon rises, I think that every person starts developing a certain romantic perception of the world. I wanted to reflect my lyrical perception of life in my pen name, Jean Luna. Actually, I'm a lyrical and romantic person, which is reflected in my music and poems.
Моя лирическое восприятие жизни, что на самом деле я лирик, я романтик, это и в музыке, и в стихах.
Tulegien Muhamedjanov's works gained wider recognition among foreign viewers. All the copies of the first poetry collection, Declaration of Love, were sold out in Moscow in just 2 weeks. Later, the works of the young poet were recognized in Paris, where Jean Luna was included in Del Mundo's Writers' Union.